Adultery in TPM Church. Fault-Vellore Center Pastor Durai. WHO is at fault. Pastor Durai or believer Madhusha. One day we engaged a mason to pave new floor tiles in our house. We do not know the person. The contractor who was doing the maintenance work in our house engaged him. He came for the work first day. He was very polite, did his job nicely and faithfully. We understood that he is a Christian. After 2 to 3 days, by knowing we are also Christians, he asked us to which church you are attending to. We said we are attending TPM Church. Immediately we received a shocking reply from that man. He spontaneously told, TPM is the church of Antichrist. We were shocked very much. But he told it without any hesitation. That man is less literate. He was a mason. He lives with daily labor and daily wages. But he was firm to say TPM is Antichrist's church. But we, the believers of the TPM Church, tried to find whether our church is true church, whether our servants of God are true servants of God, whether the doctrine of our church is true or not. We have so many doubts about our church for many years. There was no answer. But a layman simply said it is a fake church. Their pastors are fake pastors, their preachings are fake preachings. They live immoral life. They are the agents of devil. But we, the believers of the TPM Church, the most dedicated believers, the Sunday school teachers, the interpreters to the center pastors, the Sunday school secretaries to TPM Sunday schools, the Sunday school headmasters, are unable to find that TPM Church is a fake church. We have to do many researches, study many scholarly books, many doctrinal books. Even if we find some faults, we are unable to believe that TPM is a fake church. Even if the center pastor, the sisters do adultery or homosexuality, even one pastor was murdered by another pastor, even sisters are made pregnant by pastors, we are unable to believe that TPM is fake church. Their pastors are adulterers, their sisters are prostitutes, they do homosexuality, masturbation, lesbian sex. Even when we find some pastors lie with another young brother, we never believe they do homosexuality. Even two sisters lie in the same bed throughout the night, we refuse to believe that they are doing lesbian sex. Even one sister remains in pastor's room for more than 2 hours when we try to visit that pastor, we never doubt that both are doing adultery. Even some immoral lady visits the pastor and stays in his room with a man to guard his room by sitting outside his room, we never doubt that some sexual activities are going inside the pastor's room. Even when one worker sister was caught red-handed along with the driver of that faith home while doing adultery, we never doubt that TPM is a fake church. Even one worker brother and worker sisters both remained inside the toilets for more than 1 hour and were caught red-handed and were brought to the notice of the center pastor. We never doubt that TPM is a fake church. Even while we go to the pastors along with our family members, if he touches the wives of the believers in the back or shoulder or any other inappropriate places, we never doubt that that pastor is a wrong person, and never doubt that TPM is a wrong church. Even while the center pastor who viewed the pornography videos in his mobile or laptop secretly and touches the believers with wrong intentions, we never doubt he is an immoral person. We never doubt him. We never keep ourselves away from that criminal person. Even after seeing the sexual videos, after he did his masturbation, while going to pray to him, even if he removes his undergarments and shows his secret part, we never doubt that he finished his masturbation and he showed his secret part with evil thought, but we will see him as a saint. Even if we witness the worker sister with full nude in the sister's room, without even a bit of cloth on her body, even if we are shocked, even she was involved in secret sex while the Sunday service was going on, we will never doubt that they are involving in sexual intercourse while the Sunday service is going on. We are addicted to believe that the TPM workers are saint, they are holy, their pastors and sisters are holy, they never have sexual feeling, they never feel any sexual thirst, they do not have a need to exhaust their sexual desire. Their body is not made of flesh and blood. There is no need for them to send out their fluids from their body. They never masturbate. They never feel sexual if opposite sex person touches them. They never kindle their sexual desire even if they look at or touch beautiful ladies. We are taught that they are made of steel body and taught that they removed all the sexual organs when they enter into ministry. They are filled with Holy Spirit once they are entered into the doors of faith homes. They never thirst, never hungry, they never sweat. They become angels-like and they live a holy life. We thought it is impossible for the pastors and sisters to have sexual feeling. They never do sex. Or they are unfit to do sex. This is because they are mesmerizing and taught frequently that they are like angels. They close their whole body like cherubism. They closed their eyes, they closed their ears, they closed their mouth. They never do sins. They are born to live as holy and saints. They dress white. The pastors and brothers are completely shaved. They dress pure white dhoti and jibba. They use white lungies. They never show their bare body. Likewise, the sisters use full sleeves. They even use full gowns to cover their navel and hip. They cover their neck with closed neck. They cover their hands with full sleeves. They closed their head with covers. They used white curtains for their windows, doors, partitions inside their rooms. They used white mats, white pillow covers, white bed mats. All they use white. Their walls are whitewashed. Thus, they are completely whitewashed. We cannot see any wrinkle or spot either in their dress or walls or curtains. Thus, we are made in our mind to believe that they are saints. What we look outward we believe that they are pure inwardly also. This is how the TPM cheat the world. The believers cheat themselves. But the Mason who visited our house clearly pointed out that the TPM Church is a false church. They do immoral sex inside the church. He belongs to CSI Church. We never expected such a reply from that person. We have to do so much reading to the Bible, the doctrinal books to find whether our TPM is fake church. Not only this Mason, every CSI member knows that TPM is a false church. They are the adulterers. The pastors do adultery with their sisters. They know that TPM pastors cannot keep idle, when a beautiful sister is living with him day and night. He cannot keep idle when an unmarried girl cooks his food, serve him the food. Make morning coffee, breakfast, even snacks, tea and with all delicious food she is waiting in the faith home to serve him day and night. Thus, when opportunity comes, he will eat the fruit of the forbidden tree, do sex with her. Except the TPM believers who are fooled by the TPM pastors, all other people CSI, RC and the Hindus know very well that a cat that smells the dry fish will not leave it when opportunity comes. Cat and rat cannot be put together. The same cat will eat the rat when chance comes. The cat will look into the milk sofa, the mother looks at her, but will drink the milk within the seconds when the mother left. They never believe that if fire and cotton are put together the cotton will not catch fire. If one says cotton and fire will not catch fire even if they put together they will clearly say that one who believe it is a fool, and one who teaches such wrong and unnatural and unethical things is a thief. So, the TPM believers are fools and the TPM pastors are thieves. That is why they say TPM is a fake church, their pastors and sisters are adulterers and prostitutes. But as far as the believers are concerned it takes 20 to 30 years to believe that TPM is a fake church, their workers are adulterers. Even then we say only Pastor Joshua is adulterer, Pastor Durai is adulterer. Our Pastor Yesudas is not so. Our Pastor John is not so. Our Chief Pastor PM Abraham is not so. Our sisters are not so. Some 1 or 2 persons may be wrong. Not the whole TPM is wrong. God will judge them. You should not judge others. Thus, we the TPM believers, once we frequently smell bad odor, we will be addicted to bad smell. Once we are addicted, we will not find the difference. We will use to that. Since we are addicted to live with this TPM adulterers, though we witnessed so many adulteries, homosexuality, even murder, we are addicted to these sexual sins and murders. Thus, we never resist them. We are used to the adultery. Even the pastors misbehave with our family members, we used to it. We will not reject them. We will not reject the TPM Church. We will not condemn their immoral acts. We will not oppose them. We are used to it. We witnessed many sexual immoralities, homosexuals inside TPM. We saw Pastor Alvin, we saw Pastor Phil Chandapille, we saw hundreds of pastors and hundreds of sisters. So, we used to it. We should not interfere their affairs. Let them do their affairs. Let God judge them. But we will supply money, we will supply our daughters, we will give tithes, we will give offerings, we will give our car, we will give our house, we will sell our property and give to them to do adultery. Our forefathers gave license to our founder Pastor Paul Ramankuti and Pastor Alvin Dialvis to the Ceylon Pentecostal Mission to do adultery. They were licensed pastors and sisters and did adultery. Though some pastors and sisters objected to their licenses, all were sent out. Subsequent chief pastors renewed the license to adultery. Now Pastor PM Abraham, Pastor MT Thomas and Pastor JM, they got renewed their license to do adultery from Pastor Stephen Natrajan. The believers cannot control the chief pastors. They have to finance them to open new faith homes and do adultery. They will supply money, their sons and daughters every year and continue to give license to do adultery. They will not object or make complaint to the police or complaint to the Human Rights Commission, will not complain to the Women Rights Commission. Since they are saints, they are apostles. If we interfere in their sexual activities, God will curse us. Will fall and die on the spot. Cannot go in the rapture. Thus, the whole world knows that TPM is a false church. All other Christians know that TPM is a false church. The whole world know that adultery is going in TPM Church. They know that pastors and sisters live together without marriage and lead an illegal life. But the TPM believers, we the idiots, the stupids, we the fools, the booby, the loons, the blind, never open our eyes and understand these scoundrels and reject them and expel them out of these churches. They cleverly made their own rules and regulations by omitting the believers from their membership of their TPM church. They use the believers for their money, tithe and living expenses, to build their mega faith homes, to buy luxurious cars. They live with our money, they eat our food. They collect tithe and offering in the name of Jesus Christ, but omitted them from the members of the TPM church. They cannot fight against their immoralities officially and legitimately. Believers are robbed of their rights to remove the immoral and criminal pastors or sister. They live a sinful and sexual immoral life. They are unfit to be called servants of God. They are unfit to be called pastors. They are unfit to be called saints. They are sinners. They are to be condemned. Now we all learned a good lesson from the young woman Madhusha. She revealed so many secrets of the TPM Church. She revealed the immoral sexual activities of Pastor Durai. She was initially shocked when she heard some filthy conversation of Pastor Durai. She understood his malafide intention to fulfill his sexual desire with this young woman. Her expectation was very high about Pastor Durai. She heard his sermons. His messages were wonderful. She thought he is most holy person. She thought he was the New Testament apostle. She was attracted by his hypocritic messages. She wanted to visit his faith home and pray for her family's blessings. This is what every believer hopes about the TPM pastors. She first visited with her husband. When visited subsequently, she found the secret side of Pastor Durai. She expected a fatherly look from Pastor Durai. But she found the face of devil inside him. So now we all understand that there is another face for every TPM pastor and sister, the face of devil. Thus, she made a complaint to the chief pastor PM Abraham. The chief pastor is also a person who gone up in the same ladder. He was also a center pastor previously. He also prayed to many young women. He also touched many women. He also has two faces, the face of saint and the face of devil. He knows that no one can bring proof for sexual sins or molestation. Thus, he told to bring evidence to this Madhusha. The girl visited again. She got the proof. She produced the proof, audio recording. The sexual talks, the most interior questions about the size and color of the of the girl. How she does sex with her husband, which shows the inner thoughts of the heart and inner soul of the TPM saint, the last day apostle, one who traveled to heaven and back and got revelation from God the Father, one who is going to sit with Jesus, to inherit Zion, who is going to see the face of the Father, who is one among the 144,000 seen on Mount Zion. Thus, in order to find the mind of the inner man, a TPM saint, a TPM center pastor, she took 25 years. Finally, she proved that Pastor Durai, whom she called a father, is not a father but a devil. The chief pastor, who she thought was a saint, found to be an unjust and unfit person to run a Christian church. The Mason knows that TPM Church is a fake church. TPM Church is Antichrist Church. CSI, the nominal Christian, knows that TPM is a false church. They do adultery, but in spite of all the proofs provided by Madhusha, the TPM believers reject all her proofs, all her tears, all her cry, all her weeping, and support Pastor Durai and join hands with Pastor Durai and plan to finish her when she comes to Fault-Vellore for the enquiry. How idiotic, how foolish, how blind is the TPM believers. The girl who went to meet a TPM center pastor was shocked to hear his sexual talk, was shamed and shocked, and shivered to hear such unexpected words. It is a cruel attack on her modesty, on her chaste, on her future life, on her Christian life, on her spiritual life. All is lost by this pastor. She was mentally depressed. She fell sick. But now the TPM believers slapped her with their doubts and comments on the YouTube channel. Some believers still say Madhusha is mental, she is depressed. Why she visited Pastor Durai alone? She should release the entire audio. She should release the unedited audio. Why she talked to Pastor Durai like that? These questions are irrelevant. She has given her reply promptly and correctly. She clearly stated the reasons. It is not the common believers, but it is the supporters and believers of Pastor Durai raised such questions. Besides, subsequently she received many more cases of adultery of Pastor Durai. His sexual involvement for the past 20 years she revealed. Starting from Sivakasi, Madurai, Nazareth, Chennai, Fault-Vellore, wherever he was transferred, he seduced many girls and women. She informed that a widowed lady was made pregnant by Pastor Durai. These are the certificates, testimonies he earned during the last 20 years ministry in TPM. These are the certificates one should earn to be a pastor, a servant of God. This is what Paul wrote to Timothy, and now Chief Pastor P.M. Abraham wrote to Pastor Durai. Many more hidden activities may also come subsequently. Thus, he is unfit to be a pastor or to serve God in any ministry, either in TPM or any other ministry. But still people are unaware that TPM is an anti-Christian church, a church which does against the doctrines and preachings of Jesus Christ. They themselves, the TPM Deputy Chief Pastor M.T. Thomas, said they received special revelation from God. This pastor, while he was holding workers' meeting when he was in Fault-Vellore, another worker removed the mic stand and hit him on his head. He got 16 stitches in his head. But he will never disclose how he went to hospital or how 16 stitches were made, how he was healed, what are the antibiotics, the medicines he used. He preaches that believers should not take medicines. Medicines are witchcraft. Once we take medicine, we will be left out in the rapture. We will be left out for the great tribulation, will deny Christ and go to hell. Some rumors came in the TPM circle and in the media that the worker brother who hit the pastor met with a road accident and died within a few days. It was not an accident, but he was killed in road accident, the people lamented. But the truth is known only to the believers of Fault-Vellore. The hitting of Pastor M.T. Thomas on his head and his head was broken is true. The subsequent events are unconfirmed. He became the deputy chief pastor even though he put stitches, took medicines and healed by doctors and medicines. He preached that their founder Pastor Alvin sat in the presence of God day and night and received special revelations. His special revelation finally ended in nakedness. He introduced hedonic experience of total perfection for TPM pastors and sisters inside TPM faith homes. He introduced live-together system of unmarried pastors and sisters. Finally, he introduced nakedness perfection nirvana perfection system in Ceylon faith homes. Nirvana is the highest level of perfection in Buddhism which Gautam Buddha practiced. Since he is a convert from Buddhism and all Singhales practice Buddhism, he introduced the final perfection of Nirvana in the former Ceylon Pentecostal mission faith homes that both pastors, brothers and sisters should remain naked in their faith homes. That proves that they attain total perfection. TPM preached that even if they do adultery and murder they are saints. How it could be? It is the uniform teaching throughout all TPM churches that even if they fall into adultery they are saints. No one should accuse a saint. God will look into it. They should not accuse godly people. Thus, we call an adulterer a saint, call a murderer a saint, we call a masturbatory a saint, call a lesbian a saint, call a homosexual a saint. We call all the thieves, scoundrels, criminals, killers saints and want proof for their sexual acts. If we have to complain to Chief Pastor, we have to go with 3 testimonies of how they did the sexual immorality. Are we not idiots? Is Chief Pastor a Christian? Is he fit to be a pastor at least? How he became a chief pastor? Is he not the chief of all sexual and criminal activities? Under his leadership this sexual gang is working. Still people doubt whether it is Pastor Durai misbehaved with Madhusha. Is it true? How to believe? Is Pastor Durai such an immoral person? Is it the voice of Pastor Durai? The mindset of the believers is so fixed that TPM pastors Pastor Durai is infallible. He is beyond doing any sin. He is a great saint. But the truth is every TPM believer and worker knows the voice of Pastor Durai. There is no doubt that the voice in the audios is nothing but Pastor Durai. We cannot prove scientifically. Since the girl filed complaint to the police, or when it comes to the court, it has to be proved scientifically. People should understand that for many cases we cannot find proof or produce proof. It will be proved on the circumstantial evidences. The court will look into the proofs as well as circumstantial evidences. Thus, At present it is proved that Pastor Durai is guilty. Prima facie he is guilty. It is nobody's wish that he should be punished. But he should have been warned by TPM chief pastors publicly, and announced in their international convention that such sexual immorality should be stopped inside the TPM faith homes, and if anyone found guilty of the offense they will be sent out of ministry without any mercy. When the political party leaders warn their cadre, why not this TPM church warn against the adulterers? Thus, TPM lost its credibility since they failed to condemn the guilt. This is not a new case, it is from the beginning. They are not true servants of God. They are fake pastors from top to bottom. They came to ministry from their starvation, poverty. They never come to serve the Lord out of thirst of souls or love of God and thirst to save the sinners of this world or to serve the poor and needy ones. They do not catch fish from the sea by going to the faraway places. They catch the big fishes from the boats of another fisherman. They steal the big fishes from the boats of other fishermen who suffered a lot to save the dying souls. They wanted good food and money to spend. Now they got abundantly and they do all lusts and sins. They are fake. It is true. In fact, since they boast themselves as the most holy, they should have removed such sexual immorality from their church and should follow the Holy Bible in its real perspective. But they will not do. We feel sorry for both Pastor Durai and the young girl Madhusha. Both have spoiled their names. Both are children of God. Both followed Jesus from their childhood. Both wanted to live a sinless life in Christ. Both seek the kingdom of God. Madhusha saved herself undefiled. Pastor Durai fails to keep his place. He fell to adultery. Not once but he failed many times. Now he is fallen. The reason is TPM is fake church. They are trapped in a ruined church. But they are good people. The culprits are the TPM founders and chief pastors. The present chief pastors are also the culprits to be condemned. Chief Pastor PM Abraham is to be blamed for the fall of these two center pastors, Pastor Durai and Pastor Joshua. He allowed adultery without condemning the adulterers or warning adultery before they fall into sin. The root cause for the sexual sin is admitting women into ministry. The 3 golden rules to live peacefully in this world are: 1. Should not have lust over land, should not have lust over woman, should not have lust over money. All the 3 are the 3 evils that will spoil a simple man in this world. But the TPM started with zero capital, introduced women to their ministry, introduced unbiblical tithe to their ministry, introduced buying property into their ministry. Thus, TPM is corrupted, fell into adultery, fornication, murder. There is no way for TPM to come out because of huge money, huge property and numerous concubines. The end is bottomless pit. Beloved believers of the TPM Church, if you still believe that TPM Church is a spiritual church, they are highly spiritual, their pastors are saints, their sisters are saints, they are the last day apostles, they will make everyone perfect in Jesus Christ and they will prepare you and me for the rapture, you are completely wrong. If you still believe, you are a fool. They are the most criminals, adulterers, and prostitutes. They will never go to heaven. The entire TPM church will go to hell. If you want to live an honest, truthful, sincere, uncorrupted, undefiled life with Jesus Christ, and keep your salvation and keep your body, soul, and spirit blameless and spotless, it is impossible to live such a life by continue your fellowship with this false and adulterous TPM men and women. If you want to continue in this false church and enjoy the lust of this world by doing adultery and fornication and willing to receive the Holy Communion from this wicked TPM pastors with their dirty and ugly hands, you continue in TPM church. Otherwise, come out of this TPM ministry. Stop paying your unbiblical tithe and offering immediately. Stop entertaining either the pastors or sisters of this TPM church to your house. They are more dangerous than the Jehovah's Witness people. Both TPM and Jehovah's Witness are cult churches. Forget TPM once for all. Attend to your nearby church till God guides you to the right church. There are many other fake and fictitious doctrines in our TPM church. Now, we speak about the doctrine of live together system which leads to adultery and the unbiblical system of tithe which encourages the TPM church to do adultery and cover up their sins with the tithe money. Believers are unable to understand these two crimes which a Mason understood without any doctrinal knowledge. Thus, it will be premature to bring out the other doctrinal issues starting from salvation to Zion of our TPM church which are fake and fictitious. But we will bring out those fake doctrines of our TPM church at the appropriate time. If you need any further clarifications or guidance, you can write to our email address, christianbeliever25@gmail.com. Beloved TPM pastors, brothers and sisters, if you want to come out of TPM ministry, contact us through our email address. We will give you counseling, guidance and help you to come out of this hell. We are here to serve you. We will keep your name and address secretly and will not disclose at any point of time. You can write to us in any language: English, Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, Hindi. Even you can send by writing in a plain paper, take a copy and send through email by approaching a e-service center. You can send your details by using your mobile phone.